Although Mjolnir has perished at the hands of Hela, it has decided to reincarnate itself for this movie review. So, my Thor Ragnarok movie review is here. I saw it Thursday night with Santino. He was amped and juiced as ever, as can be. I know it's taken me a while to get to this movie review. I've been busy as hell, trying to sit down, gather my thoughts for what I thought about this movie. Pretty damn good. Now, the beginning of this video will be spoiler free, and if you've seen the movie, you know that there is something that happens in the beginning of the movie that may be a spoiler to some if you did not learn anything about Norse mythology or even read any of the comics growing up, or if you know of anything. So I'll keep that for the people that, you know, are not the typical comic book fan, and I will keep that portion of talk for spoiler talk portion of this video, which I will let you know when that will happen, so you can cut it off if you haven't seen the movie yet. So, the cast, man, this movie had one hell of a cast. The director, what was his name? Taika Waititi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, did a really good job of balancing all the characters that are in this movie. Hulk and Thor, anytime they're on the screen together, whether as Hulk and Thor or Thor and Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo, the best Hulk by far in this universe ever. Really, really good job of mixing comedy and action. The jokes didn't come in at a bad time, and where they weren't corny. They, you know, very humorous with the action that happened, especially in the beginning. I won't talk about that until the spoiler talk of the video. But, you know, you've seen in the trailers already, Benedict Cumberbatch makes an appearance as Doctor Strange. And a little surprising that what you see and hear him say to Thor in the trailer or in that commercial gets cut out of the movie. It's not in the movie. I do not believe he says that line at all while they're conversing. So Tom Hiddleston back as Loki, very good job. I love what they, if you've seen the first two Thor movies and all the, if you've seen the first two Thor movies, especially in the Dark World, Loki, you think Loki's finally just gonna, you know, be there to help Thor, but he has his own plans, and it was good to see how Loki, wasn't trusted by Thor this time and did not fall for the trap, and you know, pretty much gives Loki a taste of his own medicine, so to speak. So I was very surprised by that. Jeff Goldblum, the Grandmaster. I didn't see I just kept seeing Jeff Goldblum. You know, Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum, Goldbluming it up all over the place, just being himself. Man, his one-liners that he had, he's basically the master of the planet Sakaar, or, you know, not of the planet, but, you know, just that city where Thor lands when he gets exiled by Hela. You know, Kate Blanchett, I would have to say, Loki was the best villain of the MCU, I would say. Neck and neck with the Red Skull, Hugo Weaving. But Kate Blanchett, you know, there is a reason, like, if you're wondering, if you don't know more Norse mythology and you don't know who Hela is, in Norse mythology, she is basically the daughter of Loki. But of course, in the movie, you can see that they probably tweaked it, and I'll talk about that later. But they definitely did tweak it, and it made sense. I didn't have no gripes about it. And when I seen that she was casted to play, months ago, when I seen that she was casted to play Hela, I was like, how is that gonna work? She's clearly older than Loki, in the movies, so they definitely did a good job at doing that switch up. And with every commercial that I see that comes out is saying the best Marvel Universe movie so far. Every movie seems to top itself whenever they come out. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was like the best movie so far. And then when Spider-Man Homecoming came out, that was the best movie so far. And so this one definitely is better than, hands down, both of the first two Thor movies. Both of the... I didn't not like the first two Thor movies. I thought they were great. But this one just took it in a whole nother direction. It wasn't serious and dim as those first two was. They took the most, I don't want to say boring of the Avengers, but they definitely took the character of Thor and turned it on its head and, made him very comedic, and it worked. It wasn't unnecessary, to have Chris Hemsworth. He pulls it off very well. I would say Chris Hemsworth was the best thing about the Ghostbusters reboot. His scenes that he had and the way he acted, and the way his delivery was in that movie, it just worked. And he brought that over to this Thor movie, and it made it even better. And you get the first hint of that when he's, the opening scene is what you see in the trailer, like he's narrating, like, oh, you must probably think, how did I get here? And he's all in chains and everything, and just the comedic aspect of when he's talking to Sutur, whoever that dude is that just made of fire. I think he's another character from Norse mythology. When he's talking to him, and basically, just he's wrapped up in chains, and he keeps without him trying anything. He just keeps twirling. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this. Hold on, let me get turned back around so he can make eye contact with the dude who's talking. So that's pretty funny. And as always, Anthony Hopkins as Odin has always been perfect. He definitely delivers again. And there's even a scene where I'll talk about later, when he is... If you've seen Thor: The Dark World, you know that Loki is impersonating Odin. He's impersonating Odin on Asgard, so he's basically king, but he's keeping himself in the disguise of Odin. And there is, something that really entertaining that happens, and that's when Thor calls him out and realizes, hey, that's not Odin, it's Loki. So my rating for this movie, I would have to say, I would say a 4.5 out of 5. I would definitely give it a 4.5 out of 5. It would be a perfect 5. There's a certain end credit scene that I wish had more, and if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. There were some people that even sent me a text and asked me, hey, what was up with that end credit scene? What was that? And then I had to explain. But I wish the certain character actually did, show his face or make an appearance. So, and it looks like it's basically all connects to, if you've seen the, what was that? The Comic-Con exclusive trailer that leaked online for Infinity War. So, you probably know whose aircraft that was, but they didn't show him or anyone else. So, but it looks like it connects, and I feel bad. So, now let's talk some spoilers. There is a lot to talk about when it comes to this movie. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and shut it off. Come back when you have seen the movie. I'll be here waiting for you. Okay? So, very first scene, you see Thor. He's wrapped up in chains, and he's talking to Sir Thor, however the hell you say his name. He's talking to him, and he's, comedically trying to get spun back around because he's spinning by himself, and he's, has no control over it. And once he is able to break loose with Mjolnir, he is using his hammer in ways that you've never seen in any of the Thor movies or any of the Avenger movies. His hammer work, pun intended, his hammer work is just unbelievable. You see him do things with his hammer that you've waited for a long time to see. Like, you see things that they pull out of the comics and you think, it doesn't look like it'll work in a movie. Like, how would they do it? But they fucking pulled it off. The way he was spinning that damn hammer and using it as a shield against the fire and everything. And then the song from Led Zeppelin that perfectly fits with that fighting scene. They didn't waste no time using it in the movie. That first, fighting scene where he's killing these minions or whatever with his hammer. So, fast forwarding to when he finally gets back to Asgard, since Thor: The Dark World, he comes across a statue of Loki. Erected in the town square, with his hands like this, and the play that is Odin. He's sitting down eating grapes with women around him, and that's not Odin. You know damn well that's Loki doing that. That's Loki as Odin, and he's watching a play. He's watching a play of what happened in Thor: The Dark World, where Loki sacrifices himself to save the Earth, and basically dies. So this whole time, nobody knows Loki is alive until Thor comes across a play where none other than Matt Damon is dressed up as Loki in the play, and I couldn't tell who the hell it was that was playing Thor in the play until afterwards. I found out that that's the youngest Hemsworth brother. There's Chris Hemsworth, who's Thor. There's Liam Hemsworth, who is, from the Hunger Game movies. And then there's another Hemsworth brother. I don't believe he's an actor. I could be wrong. I don't know if he's in any other movies, but that was him, dressed up as Thor. And, so it was basically a play of playing out the events that happened according to Loki, So Thor is watching him like, what the hell is going on here? So, so the moment Loki/Odin sees Thor, oh shit, fuck, he's here. So he basically, in front of everybody on Asgard, gets him to reveal his true self, and gets ousted for lying about his death, just to overthrow, Asgard. And so Thor naturally thinks, what did you do with our father? Did you kill him? No, he actually exiled him to Earth. So they find him. He's somewhere in New Zealand. I don't know where he was, but when they do finally find him, he is basically talking about his death, and once he dies, Hela will be coming to start Ragnarok. And basically, it is revealed, this is what I was talking about, where it may be a spoiler to some and may not, but in the comics, Hela is Odin's daughter, firstborn. It was always thought that, it was always told in the prior movies that Thor was the firstborn, and then Loki was adopted from Laufey and the Ice Giants. But the truth is revealed that Hela basically was, you know, the executioner of Odin. Basically the dirty right hand of what made Asgard what it is. There were times where, you know, Hela, she doesn't really look at herself as a villain. She's just trying to get Asgard back to controlling the 9 realms, and not just the 9 realms, but the entire, you know, galaxy. Everything. Just control everything the way it should be. So, with that, the death of Odin needed to happen for her to be released from her prison of wherever Odin had her hiding. So, yeah, and she's definitely by far the best villain to wreak the most havoc of all the Marvel movies. I would like, I mean, for her to be the reason Asgard is actually destroyed now. There's no such thing as Asgard anymore. And Odin said itself, Asgard is not a place, it is a people. So what a, you know, fast forwarding all the way down to the end where, you know, Thor basically gets all the people of Asgard onto a ship, and they're basically nomads right now, and, you know, flying around in space without a home. But, you know, at the end of the movie, that's Thor's goal, to find a new home for these people. So he's like, oh, Earth it is. So they're flying to Earth. But heading to Earth, that's when Thor comes across this spaceship in the end credits scene. And what I'm talking about, what I said earlier, like someone asked me, oh, what was it all about? It was like, it's got to be Thanos. Thanos is, you know, there. And the only way I know it's Thanos is by watching that by watching that leaked Infinity War trailer from the Comic-Con that was never released, you know, worldwide. You see the Guardians of the Galaxy flying, and then Thor, you know, his face smacks on their windshield. And I cannot I have to rewatch it, but because I cannot remember if in that shot, and when he comes onto the ship and wakes up, I cannot remember if he had his eye missing or not. Because in this movie, they did a real good job at tricking us in the trailers and the commercials. You see Thor when he lands onto the bridge, and he has both of his eyes. But in the movie, he loses his eye to Hela. Hela takes his eye out, and it's just all black right here. And it's all scorched, so it doesn't look like it's all bloody. You know, don't want to freak out the kids. So, pretty creative how they did that. Tessa Thompson, she basically, she's a Valkyrie. It is known that people, whenever they see her, they say, oh shit, you're a Valkyrie. But she denies it. She doesn't want anything to do with Asgard. She fled Asgard after Hela killed a bunch of the Valkyrie, and she was one of the only survivors of that battle. So she decided to stay away. Hulk, Thor, convinces her to help out. You know, once he tells her that Odin is dead, and no matter what, Hela's not going to stop until she controls everything. So I'm just jumping back and forth to whatever comes to my mind about, you know, it's probably not even in order of what I'm talking about. So, yeah, when Doctor Strange shows up, and he shows up because he notices that Thor and Loki are on Earth, and he starts to, he's the gatekeeper, so he needs to question Thor about, oh, what are you doing on Earth? Or, you know, okay, you're looking for Odin, I'm gonna help you, because, you guys need to get the hell off this planet, because I do not trust Loki being on this planet again. So, yeah, so that whole line that was from the trailer where he tells Thor, Destiny has dire plans for you, and then Thor replies with, I have dire plans for Destiny. I guess that, you know, it got cut out of the scene. Didn't really fit with anything else that was in that scene, but, you know, it was pretty good to see them interact before Infinity War. So, you know, he's there sitting, and he's like, oh, would you like some tea? I don't drink tea. Of course, you know, he drinks beer, so he gets a big frosty mug of beer, drinks it, gets refilled, and He keeps transporting him with him everywhere he goes, and he just keeps getting dizzy. It's pretty funny. Gets exiled by Hela and goes to Sakaar, gets captured by Valkyrie, and gets brought in front of the Grand Master. They make him a competitor to fight their champion, and their champion is none other than the Hulk, who most likely came to them. At the end of Age of Ultron, you see Hulk. He's flying away, you don't know where, in the ship, and doesn't plan on ever coming back. So I guess he somehow finds Sakaar, lands his ship there, and has become the champion of the gladiator matches that the Grandmaster, holds dear to his heart. So, he tells Thor, you can go if you can beat the champion of the gladiator battles that they have. So, the fight itself between Hulk and Thor lasted quite a while. I wasn't expecting it. I knew it was gonna be good, but like they did not hold anything back. It was really, really good. It wasn't too short. It wasn't too long. It was perfect. And then the things that happened to to make sure that Thor actually won. Well, everyone who is fighting against Hulk has something implanted in their neck, so that right when Thor was about to beat Hulk, he gets tased or whatever, and then that Hulk takes advantage. But Hulk definitely lost to Thor, I would have to say. So, and it all happened because Thor decides to turn into Raiden all of a sudden, and Thor is flashing back, talking to the spirit of Odin, I guess, when he's fighting Hela, and he's like, okay, you're not the god of hammers, right? Hela destroys Mjolnir, the hammer, and Thor thinks that, oh, all of his power is gone because he doesn't have his hammer. It's right here. No. But he was like, okay, you're not the god of hammers, right? What are you? You're the god of thunder. So why not, summon the thunder and just exert it through yourself. So that's why you see he's pretty much shocking everybody just by throwing thunderbolts out of his hands, which is something you've never seen in any of the Thor movies or Avengers, So I wonder if, going forward, do you see Mjolnir in Infinity War? I remember seeing there were sketchings and paintings of Thor, and he has Mjolnir in his hands with Raccoon right next to him. So it's like, does he get another one? Does he make another one himself? What happens? So, and I was expecting him to get it back at the end of the movie, but he didn't. So, So yeah, I don't know if they're just gonna scrap that painting or that, because it was probably made before Thor Ragnarok was, coming out. But I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. See what they decide to do. I love how the director, Taika Waititi, he played the voice of Korg. Yeah, the dude that was just completely made of blue rocks. And you see this big bulking, thing of rocks, and he just has this voice like, hey, yeah, you need some help? This is really funny, and he definitely lent another comedic hand into the movie. It was really good. Carl Urban played, who was it? Scourge, and basically becomes the executioner of Hela. But the whole time you can see that he's conflicted with, her killing all the Asgardians and taking over Asgard. And you're, beginning to think, okay, is he really going to turn to her side when he starts helping her out? Or, what eventually happens is he turns on her in the end and helps out Thor and Hulk and Valkyrie and Loki. So, and one thing that was shocking to me was, like, when Hela first comes to Asgard, very quickly she kills the Warriors 3. she just, in the snap of a finger, kills Volstagg, kills Fandral. What was that? Yeah. And then Hogun was the last one to die in front of all the soldiers. But Hogun put up a better fight than Volstagg and Fandral did. They were just standing there, and then all of a sudden she just fucking throws knives at them and throws swords at them and just kills them instantly. I was hoping for more of a fight from those two guys, but Idris Elba, who played Heimdall in all of the Thor movies, and he, in the beginning of this movie, you find out that he's in exile. He escaped because he was vanished by Odin / Loki. It was really Loki who did it because of, you know, the power that he has and his ability to see everything in the universe. So before he could stand trial, he escapes. So he's in hiding, and then he finally comes out of hiding to help Thor on Asgard. He begins to round up the remaining people, the remaining Asgardians, and you know, just take them to safety until Thor can come and rescue everybody. Oh, one thing that popped up in my head right now that I forgot. I did not really realize it until afterwards, but Sam Neill, famous for his roles in the Jurassic Park movies, he was also one of the characters in the play, you know, when the fake Odin was watching the play. Sam Neill was playing Odin, you know. Yeah, just a little quick tidbit that I almost forgot. So that made that scene a little bit better. So you had Matt Damon in there, Sam Neill, and then Luke Hemsworth playing those main three characters in that little play that they had. So the only thing I didn't, my only gripe was that they used the Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin twice in the movie. They used it in the first opening scene where he's throwing his hammer around and fucking kicking ass, and then they also use it for the final battle with him and Hela. So I would have preferred that they only used it once, you know, and use a different song, you know, for, you know, either battle. It doesn't matter. I think it definitely kicked off the mood of the movie by using it in the beginning scene. I don't think they needed to bring back that same song another go around for the final battle. I mean, they should have just chose which one they wanted to do it, the beginning or the ending. It would have been great either way, but to hear that song twice in the movie, you know, especially when you got movies like Guardians of the Galaxy always using different songs for every scene where there's something exciting going on, you know, I was like, that, you know, that's kind of took away from it. Like, oh, I already heard this song earlier, like in the first 10 minutes of the movie, you know. But it seems like they're trying to just adopt that as Thor's theme, you know, and it fits. It definitely fits with this movie. But yeah, come on, like, you could have used a different, or just stay with the orchestra at the end of the movie for the final battle. So I think that's it for my movie review. Absolutely loved it. Santino was laughing his ass off. He definitely loved it. He couldn't stop laughing. He was the loudest one in the theater laughing at some of the stuff that was going on in this movie. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you saw the movie, did you love it? Did it fulfill all of your expectations? I know it did. I know I was surprised a lot by this movie, and the fight battles, the way Hela killed mercilessly, you know, all of the Asgardians, and just was the one, you know, you would expect all the death to come from the hands of Ultron. You know, they say Ultron was a letdown when it comes to being a maniacal villain, and didn't really cause that much havoc for the Avengers. Like, the Avengers really, you know, took them apart easily, which shouldn't have happened. You know, Ultron should have been more menacing, but they kind of threw in a little bit of humor with him there. But Hela pretty much picked up those pieces, and she pretty much kicked some ass, and Kate Blanchett did a real good job. So that's my movie review. I know once I cut this camera off, a couple other things are going to come to my head, but damn, I'll save it for the comments section. If you enjoyed my movie review, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. If you did not, eat a dick.